Has it ever felt like a pine cone has raked through your digestive system after you've eaten and the pain has lasted for more than 3 days? Have you had stomach aches your entire life and doctors haven't been able to diagnose it? If so, you may have gluten intolerance. Today, the purpose of my speech is to inform you how to deal with gluten intolerance. More and more of individuals are beginning to be aware that they suffer from gluten intolerance. In an article, Testing for Gluten Sensitivity and Celiac Disease by Jane Anderson, she states, gluten intolerance is caused by an adverse reaction to gluten, a protein found in cereal grains like wheat, rye, and barley. I myself am gluten intolerant. Hi, my name is Emily Lucas, and for 9 years, I have had to stay on a strict gluten-free diet, and I have had to learn all of the adverse effects caused by gluten intolerance. In my speech today, I will discuss how to deal with gluten intolerance by covering the symptoms, the process of being diagnosed, and the treatment. There are many different symptoms of gluten intolerance, and the time in which they can appear vary. In an article, an updated overview of spectrum of gluten-related disorders, clinical and diagnostic aspects, published by BMC Gastroenterology. Possible symptoms include abdominal pain, diarrhea, weight loss, headache, fatigue, malaise, muscle pain, recurrent oral ulceration, and depression. I myself have experienced several of these symptoms, and I know others who have experienced eczema as a result of gluten intolerance. These symptoms can appear within the hour, however, some can take up to several days. This information can be found in Symptoms of Gluten Sensitivity by Jane Anderson. I have told you a little bit about the symptoms. Now I will tell you how they test for it. There are 2 ways gluten sensitivity can be tested for. The first is through stool sample, which you can send to Entro Lab in Texas. My mother's doctor had her do this, and her test results came back positive. When her results came back positive, she had me tested because I had suffered from stomach aches my entire life, and doctors couldn't tell her why. Sure enough, when my results came back, I was positive. The second way is you can talk to your doctor about eliminating gluten foods from your diet. In an article, Should I Quit Gluten by Trudy McConaughey, she states, usually it's diagnosed by process of excluding gluten. This is the best way to do it. After some time, you can try adding it back into your diet, and if you react negatively, then it is a pretty high chance you are gluten intolerant. Now that you know the symptoms and how to diagnose it, I'm sure you're wondering how you can treat it. There's really only one way to treat gluten intolerance, and however, you can take medicines to relieve the inflammation caused by it. Really the only one way to treat gluten intolerance is the gluten-free diet. Sherry Christensen, in her article, How Non-Celiac Gluten Sensitivity is Treated, states the primary treatment for gluten sensitivity from any cause is a change in diet. My gastroenterologist gave me 2 prescriptions when I first went to her to relieve the inflammation in my gut. Again, this does not treat gluten intolerance, however, it relieves the inflammation caused by it. Let me end by reminding you that my purpose has been to tell you how to deal with gluten intolerance. I have covered the 3 biggest steps people face overcoming gluten intolerance: the symptoms, the process of being diagnosed, and the treatment. Gluten intolerance is not something that should be feared. It can be a blessing because you can help others who have struggled the same things you are going through.